Good morning, Charleston, and welcome to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I'm your host, Brian Beatty. Thanks for joining me this morning. Gosh, 10 years I've been on this program, helping you guys better understand the housing market. What in the world is going on within the realm of real estate? It is a tough question to answer right now. It's a bit of a jungle out there, if I'm being honest. And so I want to help shed some light on what I think is going to happen to this market here over the course of the next few months, year or so. There's a lot of interesting news out there, some very interesting predictions about what the future of this market's going to look like. You know, you're kind of in one of three different camps, as it's said right now. One is that, you know, hey, market's fine. You know, this is just kind of going to be the new normal. One is, you know, hey, we do see a correction coming, but it's not going to be bad. It's nothing like 2008, right? So maybe prices fall a few percentage points, but, you know, interest rates are going to come back down and everything's going to be okay. And then you've got the third camp, which is things are not okay. But there's a lot of underlying current here that points to a market crash, for lack of a better word. And so I want to dig through that. I want to help you guys better understand what I'm seeing as somebody that's, you know, done about 1,400 transactions here in the Charleston market. I coach other agents across the country. I'm connected to some people that have a very profound investment in the real estate world. A lot of people with a lot of money, funds, hedge funds, private equity, all that kind of stuff. And so I want to kind of take all of that together this morning and share it with you in a way that helps you better understand the thought process behind, should I buy a home right now? Should I sell a home right now? Should I be investing in real estate? You know, the common questions that people are kind of asking themselves right now in this uncertain time. Now, if at any point in time, you know, you hear something and you say, you know, I want to talk to this guy off air. I'm here to inform and educate, but I'm also here as a real estate agent that would love the opportunity to earn your business. So if you're interested in working with me to help you buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate or manage the real estate you already own, or maybe you want to get into real estate as a career, then feel free to give me a call or text me. My number is 843-800-0065. That's 843-800-0065. Or check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. So let's jump right into it, shall we? This is going to be a fun show. I'm going to throw a lot at you, and I realize that. It's going to feel a little overwhelming, and it should, because it is. That's my honest opinion. There was an article that came out recently that talked about what the real estate market's going to look like over the next 5 years. And it's chock full of quotes from economists and figureheads that have been recycled for the past several months, even going back to the beginning of the year. And, you know, there's a lot to consider when it comes to making predictions that bold, right? What the real estate market's going to look like over the course of the next 5 years. What people really want to know is, or what they're really concerned about is some or all of the following. Number one, I don't want to buy a home at the top of the market because if prices come down and I have to sell, I might not have enough equity to afford to sell, which is a flashback to the market of 2008. Where short sales and foreclosures ran rampant, and where, I mean, even locally, about 30% of all of our transactions were distress sales. Another thought or opinion or concern is, you know, I want to wait for rates to come back down because I either can't afford to buy the kind of home that I want, or I just don't think paying that much for a house right now is a smart financial decision. You know, I just don't want to. Or it might be, you know, I would sell, but there's nothing out there for me to buy, or nothing worth buying at the moment, especially at current rates. Or they might be thinking, you know, hey, should I sell now because, you know, prices look like they're flatlining or maybe even positioning to come down. Maybe people are asking, is an adjustable rate mortgage a good idea? So you've got a lot of concerns out there in the market right now, a lot of questions, and frankly, a lack of consumer confidence, which has been extremely high, off the charts high for the past several years. Really what we're hearing a lot of right now is, you know, we're waiting for rates to come down, which again, that could mean a variety of things. Could mean I just can't afford to buy what I want to buy. It could mean I don't want to pay that much to of my income toward my house. I don't want to be house rich and cash poor like a lot of people were before the crash of 2008. So there's some scar tissue there. Could just be ignorance. It could be that they just don't understand how mortgages work or what some of their options are or what some of the opportunities are out there. Or it could just be that consumer confidence is low. Now, Fannie Mae came out with, they do this every month, but they come out with a home purchase sentiment index. So in August, 66% of consumers thought it was a good time to sell a house, compared to only 18% who said it was a good time to buy a house. Only 18% of those surveyed thought that interest rates were going to come down in the next 12 months. So if you take a step back and you just think about this for a second, like in the past, especially first-time home buyers, right? They typically sought to purchase a pre-existing home, which were generally more affordable than new homes, right? They then invested some sweat equity before moving further up the housing ladder because their families were expanding or some sort of, significant life event, promotion, so on and so forth. But then something interesting happened. Baby boomers decided to just age in place, and the impact of this lock-in effect or the golden handcuffs in which, people are just completely disincentivized from listing their home for sale because of the mortgage rates they have. And it's across demographic groups, but particularly among Gen Xers, it's just thrown a wrench into their plans and to this historical cycle that we've been so used to in real estate. And so what it's doing is, of course, making it way more difficult for would-be home buyers to find affordable homes to buy, which is driving demand toward new construction homes, which again has been great for home builders and the larger economy, at least to this point. But there are a lot of people right now that are struggling to compete with new construction communities. One of the reasons for that is because a lot of these larger, national builders also own their own mortgage company. So what they're doing is kind of gamifying the system a little bit. They're saying, you know what, if you come over to our community, not only will we give you some incentives and some options that you can put into the home, but if you use our preferred lender and our preferred closing attorney, we'll place some of your closing costs and this is the real kicker, and we'll get you locked in to a 30-year fixed interest rate in the high fives, low sixes right now. They have the ability to manipulate the interest rate and manipulate how much they're charging for the home because they own both the company that builds the home and the company that originates the mortgage. And so what's happening on a grander scale is, savings accounts are depleting rapidly. Consumer credit card debt surpassed $1 trillion, which is the highest it's ever been, by the way, since they started tracking that in the late 90s. And I think it's inappropriate and frankly reckless to pontificate what the real estate market's going to look like 5 years from now without the opinion being so generic that it's basically worthless. Because we've talked on this show a lot about how the national real estate market is I think important to understand in terms of trends and the impacts that then might have on you and your home, your situation, your corner of the world. But every market's different. Every neighborhood is different. Real estate is local, right? Remember that old adage, location, location, location? Well, it applies to, you and your home in Mount Pleasant or North Charleston or Isle of Palms or downtown Charleston, all of which are different markets, different price points, different buyers, different sellers. And so we have to be careful about applying these projections in such mass scale that it basically becomes worthless. It's basically a safe play that these publications or people that are after, views and subscriptions so they can get paid by YouTube or TikTok or whatever to just generate viewership, activity, get paid. Now, some of them have some really valid points, and I want to get into this much deeper than we've gone so far to really help you guys understand what, in my opinion, is going to happen to this real estate market. And again, I get it. There are going to be some people out there that are like, Brian, you're just a real estate agent, stay in your lane. Well, I've studied this stuff for a long time. You don't get to be on a radio show for a decade without knowing what you're talking about. You don't get to be, interviewed by people to go and spend $50 million on real estate for people that are holding on to a bunch of cash on the West Coast without understanding the market and the opportunities within it. And so when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into this, and we're going to talk about if you're going to buy a home, if you're going to sell a home, how do you use this information? How do you strategize? What's a way of thinking that would be appropriate for you and your situation? All that and more as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues right here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. And remember, if you want to reach out to me, you're thinking of buying a home, selling a home, investing, you have a home you need managed by us, or even wanting to sell real estate, then I invite you to reach out to me. We'd love the opportunity to have a conversation. That will go to me personally, by the way. My number, 843-800-0065. That's 843-800-0065. Or check us out online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.